It's a drifter dragging a coffin versus a pseudo Ku Klux Klan and some Mexican revolutionaries. A cult hit spaghetti western so violent some countries wouldn't give it a rating. This week, Action continues its western month with 1966's Django.
A century ago on the low hills along the border between the southern states and turbulent Mexico, a mystery man appeared. A man with a sad, impenetrable face.
Django, have you never loved again? Love will live on, life must go on, for you cannot spend your life regretting. Django,
Who was that man? What was his secret?
It's not important. And if I bothered you, will you accept my apology?
He was pitiless in revenge, quick to decide and a master of every weapon. A man everybody would like to have seen dead.
Django.
Yeah, his name is Django.
When there are clouds in the sky.
Django, the title of a film you'll never forget.
Welcome back to Action, the podcast trying to assemble the ultimate list of action movies. My name's John, and with me as always is
Dustin
and
James.
So guys, what's the what you guys been up to? What's the best thing you did this week? Watched, listened to, read?
I woke up.
Cool.
Good story.
Dustin, how about you?
Oh shit, I watched a lot of shit.
What's the best thing you watched?
The best thing? I don't know. I've been really enjoying High Maintenance, the second season of High Maintenance on HBO.
Oh yeah.
That show just pleases me to no end.
I don't know what that is.
It's a show, it's about this guy who's like a pot delivery guy. He just rides around New York City on a bike and delivers pot.
Oh,
but it's just like kind of short stories. Like it's not really focused on him. He travels between, and then there's like a story, whoever he delivers this to, there's a story about them.
Oh, okay.
And then it'll like interconnect, and then he'll be delivering to someone else, and then there'll be a story about them. And then we won't see those people again. The next episode, it's different.
Oh, okay.
It's always
That's
different
cool.
people. Although the last episode did focus pretty much entirely on the delivery guy. And he's just really likable, and you just kind of want to hang out with him.
Yeah, he's a real likable.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it beyond that.
There's this really funny bit a couple episodes ago. He was delivering to these guys that were, I don't know what the proper terminology is, but they're all dressed up in, it's like gay guys that are all dressed up in these real fancy costumes, and they're going to this like party where they have like weird feathered things and all this stuff. And
Gay costume guys.
Sure. And then they're like, somehow they start talking about Elizabeth Shue, and like, oh, they're talking about like leaving Las Vegas, and like that was her best work and all this. And then
Avengers and Babysitting.
so then they start singing it. Someone brings that up too in the scene, and then they start singing this song like out of nowhere. What are you up to, Elizabeth Shue? And for some reason, it was just so funny to me. And the next episode, he gets in a bike accident, and he's like in the hospital, and he's on morphine, and he's all high, and he starts singing, "What are you up to, Elizabeth Shue?"
That's funny.
So James, you got nothing, eh?
Oh, well, I treated myself this week to a little Columbo.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
You're a Columbo guy too?
Yeah, I didn't realize though it was like 2 hours long.
Yeah. Well, they're like feature length. So they're like so a lot of them, most of them are like an hour and 45 minutes, hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere in there. Some of them actually go even longer. But when did you start at the beginning?
No, it was on TV, so I recorded it.
What episode? You remember what it was called?
I don't know what it's called.
What happened in it? I'm excited.
So this is a top defense lawyer, like murders his wife, but frames his wife's. This guy used to be a drummer in her band.
Oh, so this
but
is
she's like sleeping with him.
Is this one of the late?
Sleeping with her?
One of the later seasons.
Yeah, I think it's a later season. I don't know what the episode was called, but
You got to go back to the beginning, man. Watch episode 1.
Apparently.
The one thing that always bothered me is like I want to watch the episodes with Columbo, but they do like, oh, here's one episode without him, where it like sets everything up.
You're watching it on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're watching it on. You're watching it. I know what channel you're watching on Vision.
Probably.
Okay, so what they do is they take the episodes and they cut them in half.
Okay.
So you're watching the first half of the episode. So often in an episode of Columbo will not appear until like half an hour into it.
Oh,
so that's your problem.
So I'm just sitting around waiting for Columbo to show up.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that's the problem. You have to watch it like in one sitting.
Right.
You're watching it cut into 2, so it can like fall into a regular time slot. Yeah.
It's definitely it's definitely filmed and like done differently than most shows from that era.
It's done. I think it's done more like cinematically. There's definitely more of a. There's just something special about it. You feel like you're watching something that's a lot. People care a lot more about.
See, I was definitely entertained and it's enjoyable, but it just made me want to watch like Rockford Files.
Rockford Files?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me want to watch that instead of Columbo.
Yeah. I love Rockford Files.
Neither of them are any Matlock. Let me tell you that.
I'll tell you this. I also like Matlock.
Matlock
I used to love Matlock when I was a kid.
I think I would go...
Perry Mason I used to watch too.
Yeah.
I think now I would go Columbo number 1. I would go Rockford number 2, and then we'll go Matlock. But man,
really?
Oh yeah.
I know you've always been a Columbo fan, but
I like Peter Falk a lot in the role, but I don't know. When I've tried to watch it, and maybe it's because like you're saying they've edited them strangely on TV, but
they just cut them in half.
They're just like feel really long and dry to me.
So did they never have it as like a regular hour?
Yeah, they used to have it as a like you would watch the whole thing. That would be the whole episode.
Oh, okay.
It would be that long.
But it's like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
They don't have
Seems like a big investment.
Regular 1 hour
TV.
No.
Why would they decide to do that?
You can't put Columbo in a box, man.
It's strange. Like I can't think of any other show that was done like that.
No. Yeah, it's like a weird decision.
I'm pretty sure that they aired the full thing, and then later on when they switched networks. I think it was from like CBS to like ABC or something like that. When they switched networks, I think that Columbo got for a time was lumped in with like these other like 3 shows. So like every week they would play a different show so it would be like a mystery theater or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And then one week they would play Columbo, and then the next week they would play another show, and the next week they'd play another show, and then like you'd loop around every month.
Oh, to Columbo.
To Columbo. So. Yeah, man. Columbo. Cool. Columbo talk.
Columbo cast.
Yeah,
I also watched a weird movie called Cruising. Have you ever seen that or heard of it?
Oh, that's the like 80s.
Yeah, 1980. Al Pacino. He goes undercover.
It's really
like the gay like bondage club scene.
I've only heard about it because of the controversy surrounding it.
Yeah. So he's like looking for a serial killer who's killing gay guys, and so he goes undercover in this, and it's pretty. I can imagine it's pretty kind of crazy that it even came out at that time. Watching it, like it's pretty graphic, and I guess they had to cut a lot to avoid an X rating and stuff. It was William Friedkin that directed it, and I guess it kind of derailed his career. This movie, but yeah, I guess at the time the gay community was pretty upset about the movie because it would portray them in a certain light, but it was like they were just trying to show like one sort of small section of the gay life or whatever. But
Interesting.
Well, he got it. He came back. William Friedkin got the last laugh though, man, with Killer Joe. So.
Oh yeah, that was him that did Killer Joe. Eh?
Yeah.
I like that movie. It was a fucked up movie. You didn't like it?
I think you're the only one who really liked it.
No, come on.
Yeah, I don't think it was like.
Give me a Rotten Tomatoes on that. I thought it was good.
79%.
That's pretty good.
I don't think I liked it. A totally twisted, deep fried Texas redneck.
Yeah.
Something.
Fuck, I like that movie.
Yeah, I don't really like it. It wasn't my thing. I watched My Cousin Vinny for the first time.
Oh yeah, I watched.
Oh, you'd never seen it?
I've never seen it. So here's the thing about me. I've seen lots of complete things, lots of TV shows and movies and stuff like that, and like I've watched like every episode of like Cheers when it was on when I was a kid and stuff like that. But there's a lot of like these classic films that like everybody's seen that I haven't seen. Like I actually feel like I went out of my way to not watch them. So like we're talking movies like Forrest Gump, never seen it.
Yeah.
Braveheart, never seen it.
Braveheart's pretty good.
Like I don't know.
So long though.
It's you know what? Another movie that was like that for me was Princess Bride. Like
Such a good movie.
I actively didn't like it because all the shitheads I went to high school with, like loved it so much, and I was like, well, fuck this movie.
You're not a conformist.
No, it's not a conformist. I just was like,
Well, what did you think of My Cousin Vinny?
it was like I think it was like a perfect Sunday afternoon movie.
I really liked that movie a lot. It's got I don't know.
It's just really, really enjoyable.
Yeah. Marissa Tomei won the Oscar for that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
I have no idea. You know who she was up against that year?
No, I don't know.
It's just,
Imagine you're a little deer and you're down for a sip of water. Are you gonna give a fuck what the guy was wearing who shot you?
It's fun. James came over halfway through.
Yeah, I never seen it before either.
And he got sucked into it.
So
it's a good movie.
I need to watch it now.
Like the whole setup of it is really well done, and just like how they figure out like who the real culprits were and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
And what's his name as the judge? Herman Munster.
Yeah, he's great. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's who he is. He looked familiar.
I was trying to place him the entire time.
I think that was one of his last movies. My cousin. I can't think of his actual name.
Yeah.
Anyway, Django.
Well, I think that leads us right into where we want to be. So we watched Django this week. I had never seen it. I'm assuming, Dustin, you had.
I have watched it once, only a year or two ago I watched it.
Yeah, so
for the first time.
Well, since you picked her, why don't you give her a little rundown of what the plot is?
Well, it follows this sort of loner guy. I guess he had been a soldier. Is that?
Yeah, he was. I think he was. What's the opposite of the
Union?
The racist ones?
Yankee.
Yeah, the Union. Union was like the good guys.
They're the North.
The good guys. Let's be honest.
Well, they won.
Anyway,
they're all. Even if they lost, I think they were still the good guys.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be like, the Confederate guys were really the good guys.
I think there's a lot of people who probably would.
Depends where you are.
Anyway, South will rise again. Yeehaw.
I thought we weren't going to get political.
Anyway, so he comes wandering into this like abandoned town, and he's dragging a coffin with him, and he kind of gets into a war between a bunch of leftover Southern soldiers and some Mexican militia or something.
Yeah, they're a bunch of Southern soldiers, but they are definitely, like I say, they're a Ku Klux Klan, pseudo Ku Klux Klan, but they're definitely a clan of racists.
They're like a dead against Mexicans, basically. They're
horrible.
gunning Mexicans down in the streets.
Except for the one weird Mexican dude that's like eating an apple while all the Mexicans are getting shot.
Oh, yeah.
I guess he's been drafted to their side. Maybe there was more to that guy that they never didn't leave in.
What's his story?
But yeah, so that's the basic premise. He's it's one of those playing against the two sides kind of.
Yeah. Spaghetti Western.
Yeah. Obviously somewhat inspired Django Unchained, the Tarantino movie.
Yeah, apparently inspired like a lot.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of Django, unofficial Django movies that
I heard
came out afterwards.
Over 30.
Yeah, something like that.
But there is there not one official sequel?
There's one official sequel, which didn't come out until like 1987.
Yeah, like 20 years later.
20 years after, yeah. With the same director and star, Franco Nero.
Yeah, so
Did you guys recognize Franco Nero, by the way?
No.
Because he was General Esperanza in Die Hard 2. The guy that is the drug general that...
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Good for him.
Interesting.
I liked him, man. He was fucking great.
Yeah, he was great.
I feel like he's a treasure that we.
He's got the right look for this movie for sure.
Those piercing blue eyes.
Yeah.
I wish he was the one that was like making films now and directing movies instead of Clint Eastwood.
Apparently, there's a third Django movie on the way with him.
Nice.
He's got to be fucking old at this point, but he looks like I've seen some recent pictures of him, and he still looks pretty. Like he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah. He looks pretty fuckable still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You crush that.
Definitely on the bangable list.
Yeah. He's on the bang list for you.
I'm no ageist, you know.
No, that's me.
Right. We've established that.
How many Jean-Claude Van Damme asses is he?
He's like, I think his eyes
on
are
the
like,
butt scale.
I think his eyes are like 10.
Yeah.
His face is like
His
8.
whiskers.
His face is like 8. His eyes are 10.
His face is 8 Jean-Claude Van Damme asses.
Yeah, he's a pretty handsome dude, but his eyes are like 10 like ocean blue Jean-Claude Van Damme asses.
Okay. Anyway.
He's born in 41.
Yeah.
So do the math on that shit. Somebody,
Math's hard.
We're gonna have some dead air for a while, guys.
10, 20.
It's like, so he's old.
Nailed it.
He's in John Wick 2, apparently.
Was he?
Oh,
Who was he in?
I wonder.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Oh, shut the fuck
No,
up!
no, no.
You reckon? Oh, get out of here! You're like, who was he?
Well, he was one of the mafia guys.
You're like,
I remember seeing his face.
Oh
in
yeah,
it.
yeah. He was in that. Who was he? He was there. I remember him.
He's in the
Well,
background.
apparently he
He's one of
shows
those
up in Django Unchained too, but I don't remember that.
Well, he's got like 20 movies in post production right now.
Still going, still working.
Yeah.
Still
Well,
going
apparently
strong.
one of them is one of them's been completed since 2007, but never come out.
Oh yeah,
So
sitting on the shelf.
yeah. So he rolls into town. He saves this.
Saves a prostitute that's being.
Well,
she's about to be killed by.
It's very important that she's a mixed race prostitute
Right.
for the purpose of this film, not for this podcast.
Right. That's
But
but you don't
how
find
you
that out till
supposed to
later.
get that? Yeah. Until later.
Somebody calls her a half breed.
She says that the general does. He says that you've got the worst of both sides. I think.
Yeah, or is that Nathaniel that says that? Well, anyway, she has left. She leaves the saloon that has the prostitutes in town to try to join up with the Mexicans, but then she tries to leave them too. It doesn't go into much detail about it, but
I think
basically both sides are pissed off at her.
There's a lot of details left behind.
Yeah, I think that she just
in
wants
this plot.
I think maybe she just doesn't want to be a fucking hooer.
Yeah, she's trying to like find a way out of the life.
Yeah, and so she tries to escape, but it doesn't work, and everybody wants to kill her. But more importantly, Django shows up.
He saves her. He lets her get whipped for a while first, and then the white guys shoot the Mexican guys that are about to kill her.
Do you think he was gonna save her?
I don't know. He's just kind of standing there watching. Maybe he was.
No, he kept walking.
Well, he starts walking down once the white guys shoot all the Mexican guys, and they go down, and they're gonna like put her up on a cross or something.
That's where like I think a lot of people say like a pseudo Ku Klux Klan thing.
Yeah, well,
That's
they
where it
definitely got
comes
the
in.
burning cross. And
They got the crosses,
the hoods.
and they wear red hoods. Yeah,
Oh, the red that reminded me of Tombstone.
right. Because
I thought they were cowboys.
Yeah.
Is there like, to me, the image of like a burning cross is just like one of the creepiest, eeriest, scariest things. Like it just like makes my blood turn. Or like all these it's all that white.
Well, because they associate it with Ku Klux Klan.
I know. It's just like it's so ingrained. Like as soon as they were like about to do that, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It was like so revolting.
You definitely get that he was trying to like make these guys seem like Klan types with these hoods.
Yeah, the Mexican revolutionaries, even though they're still bad, like again, well, bad in the sense that they're against Django, they're definitely more sympathetic than the white guys.
Yeah. Oh, so later on, when they pull off I'm jumping ahead here, when they pull off that heist, and they get that gold.
Yeah.
And then, do you think Django decides to betray them because he was always going to betray them, or is it like he thinks that they're not going to pay him?
I think it's that they're not going to pay him. He wants his gold. He wants to leave immediately.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, we'll just leave it here, and they're gonna,
Yeah, he asked for his gold, and I think as soon as he didn't say yes, that's when the gear started turning, and he was like.
That whole sequence is pretty fun though. He sneaks out and uses the coffin first for the Gatling gun. We find out that there's a giant Gatling gun.
Let's jump back. So pretty much this movie ends up being Django first versus the white guys. He teams up with the Mexicans. Then it's Django versus the Mexicans. Then he betrays them, and then it goes back and he's Django versus the white guys again.
Yeah.
But so that's pretty much like the plot of the movie. Throughout, he ends up meeting Nathaniel. Is it Nathaniel?
Nathaniel is the bartender guy,
who's like a barkeep, who like also a brothel owner.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a.
They're basically the only thing left in town. Like the whole town is like abandoned because of this these conflicts going on between these two groups. And
he's supposed to be like, I think a real positive good person.
I think he's just trying to survive.
Yeah, like he's not
necessarily
bad.
Good, but he's not bad. Yeah.
I don't think there's no way that shows him being abusive or like
no
anything like that. Who is a piece of shit is the local preacher.
Oh yeah, Brother Jonathan.
Yeah.
So he's teamed up with the clan type guys.
Yeah. So pretty much that's the plot of the movie. How about the pacing? What do you guys think? How did it move?
Really, really well. Like it's short and it's almost nonstop shit happening.
Yeah, I think it went pretty quickly. I mean, I think it's just with the plot, with all the plot holes, the pacing. Obviously, they just wanted to move the movie along. The like whole. He saves the girl, and then he like kind of shows like, hey, I'm really into you, but then he's like to the Mexicans, hey, I got your woman back, we're all buddy now, and I don't give a shit about this woman. I'm gonna save her.
I'm not sure
like,
if he's supposed to be pretending that because he wants certain things out of the Mexicans, right? So he's kind of like manipulating them and using them.
Well, yeah, we find that that's the whole purpose he's there, is to get the gold, right?
Yeah, so he can start a new life.
Yeah.
He wants to, well, it's pretty cool. He's like dragging that coffin around, and he's like, he just wants enough money so he can bury himself pretty much. Like he wants to start a new life.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really cool imagery, like like the coffin dragging thing is pretty iconic. Also, like, well, maybe I shouldn't jump to it, but like the last shot of the movie is unbelievable. I think like after he uses that cross, to like shoot those guys, and then he like leaves the gun like hanging there, and it's just like him walking out of the. Actually, it's shot pretty amazingly.
I think it's shot amazingly. I think that they take a lot of really interesting. They do a lot of interesting things. They try to do a lot of interesting things with the handheld cameras.
Oh yeah, like the fist fight in the saloon.
I think that those fail because I completely lose perspective in those scenes, and I don't really understand where the camera's going because the camera seems to be going in a complete different direction than the action.
Well, it's like it's bouncing out to all the people surrounding the fight. I kind of really actually dug that in a weird way.
I would dig it, except for I would like it if it didn't feel like I was watching. It wasn't. I didn't understand whose perspective I was seeing. I thought it was not a person's perspective.
I don't know if it's just
the
like
fight
one of them,
in general.
Yeah, and it's just like the idea of like being like at the edges of that.
Yeah, and I think
brawl.
that if they had used like the two combatants, I don't know what the other guy's name is, Django and Mexican guy. If they had to use like their perspectives, which was what you would do now.
Yeah.
But like, it was good.
I kind of liked it just because it was something different, and it did give you that sense of like
it was visceral.
The hecticness.
Yeah, yeah. It was everything they did is great. I already have my rating in there, but it's a really good movie, and I think that a lot of the things that they try to do, whether they pull them off or not, are like the fact that they at least try them is really interesting, and it's like they get credit for that.
Did you guys did you have a guess of what was in the coffin before he pulled that thing out, that giant gun out?
I watched a preview.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it was like a whole bunch of guns. I didn't realize it was, but.
You can see how even something like this must have influenced like something like Desperado.
That's the
like
first
Robert
thing I thought
Rodriguez.
of when he pulled the Gatling gun out. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's a Gatling gun.
So when he pulled that out, I was like, oh, Desperado.
Yeah.
Like, and it gets like a lot of marks for being the first.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what was going to be in it. At first, I thought he was dragging like a dead body.
Yeah.
Like it was like his penance or something like that. For
Yeah, I thought
something
maybe
he
it's
did.
like his like lover or something that died.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like he like did something bad, or like killed somebody or something like that, and he was like dragging it for like a, I don't know, penance. I don't know what the word is.
Penance. Yeah. Atonement.
I just saw him dragging that and just thought, very unpractical. Like it's really cool
It looks
that
cool,
he's really badass doing it.
Can you imagine how fucking tough
But actually
he'd
kind of
be?
turned out to be practical because
Well, yeah.
inside he had something that allowed him to gun down like
Oh, totally,
100
totally.
guys in that scene.
Well, and it's smart because nobody's gonna want to open it too,
yeah,
right?
because I
But-
think it's a body.
Yeah,
And then later, after he's used the gun, and he uses it then to steal the gold.
yeah,
It's a bummer that gold goes down that quicksand.
yeah.
I like it.
No, it's cool.
It's
just,
better that way.
he goes through so much in that little sequence to like heist it from like reheist it.
But he's like, he's never going to be happy with that gold.
Yeah.
That's not what he's really I think that's what maybe the movie is actually saying, is like he's not going to be happy with that. That's not actually not what's going to get him past it. What he needs to do is he needs to get past his dead wife.
Right.
And that's what's really going to allow him to become a new man. And he finds that with, this
Maria.
I was going to say something different. But yeah, and I think that's why when at the end, like when you find out that she's still alive and he's like all fucked up, that you have some kind of hope for him still. Because it wasn't about the money. It was more her.
Yeah. Like hopefully he'll move forward or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to watch the sequel. See what
Is he in the sequel?
Yeah. Well, in the one from 1987.
Yeah, from 19.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's talk about our favorite like action sequences, our favorite kills.
So I'd say right off the bat, that scene after those guys kill the Mexicans, and then they're gonna like string Mary up and burn her on a cross, right? He shows up and he's kind of like, let her go. I don't know what exactly he says there, but he shoots them all, but it's like he shoots them all at the same time because it's just that fast.
It's that fast that there's like it's almost like only one gun report.
Yeah, so right off the bat, you just get this feeling like this guy is badass.
Like you hear like that Django. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like every time he does something, you just like you hear that like that Django.
Yeah, and like he pretty much does the exact same thing when he's in the brothel.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Where he kills all those guys,
He
including
shoots
the
the
guy
one over
behind
the
him.
shoulder,
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. So the scene just before that is like, it actually made me angry when the white guys are making the Mexican people like run out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, it was so gross and so sad and disgusting. And they showed that real fucking ugly guy,
Yeah.
like with the teeth and everything. I forget his name.
Ringo.
Yeah.
There's always a Ringo.
Ringo. I was, yeah. And I was like, oh, he's going to be like, we talk about in quotes and tropes, right? Like the second boss, like the right-hand man.
Yeah.
Who's that's the guy you really have to kill.
Yeah.
So, like,
That's definitely the impression you got.
Yeah, and he's completely disposed of, like,
Right out.
right off the bat. Like, and I love that. I was like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah, like he's gonna be like the hard, but then he just kills him.
They just kill him. See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, even at the end, Major Jackson, like, gets out with his life. Like, he doesn't die at all, right?
No, he dies at the very end.
Yeah, he gets killed at the
He's
end.
one of the 6 guys that he guns down in the graveyard. At the end.
Oh, Oh, yeah, right. I'm just thinking of when he shoots all the Mexicans when they're going back across the border.
Oh, yeah. They shoot all the revolutionaries.
I forgot about the end scene,
Yeah.
I love the bar fight.
Yeah, the fist fight is good.
It's so visceral and like harsh. It's so it's choreographed, obviously, but it feels so like real.
Yeah.
Like this is how
gritty.
This is how like two tough guys fight. And I like the fact that he doesn't actually really beat him. Like Django doesn't beat the other guy. He
beats him by accident.
He beats him, like he's
gets
lucky.
him tailed on that.
Yeah, he's just lucky to survive that. So it kind of
hand to hand, he's just like, he's tough, but he's not like some crazy badass.
Yeah.
It's with the pistols that he's like, a crazy.
But you kind of get the feeling that like this is who he is. Though, like he's like toughened. He's tougher, and he's been in this situation before. Like he always somehow gets out of it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But I really like that scene. Because I feel like if they remade that, it would be so choreographed and so like shiny.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be like him fighting like 6 or 7 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody
like,
has to. Yeah,
they'd all join in.
Yeah.
Everybody has to fight like 6 people now to prove how tough they are, how like good they are. Where it's like, just fight one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite action sequence is probably the last one where he shoots those guys in the graveyard. There's just something really just cool about that. He's behind that little cross, and then he doesn't have the use of his hands anymore because they've been like absolutely crushed.
Yeah, so he takes the guard off.
He takes the trigger guard off, and he props the pistol like in that little metal cross, and then just hammers.
Yeah, even in that scene, like he shoots them all real quick.
Shoots them all real quick, yeah. All 6 of them.
Yeah.
1 bullet for each.
Yeah.
And they're dead. There's no like putting extra bullets in the guy after. But then, yeah, like I said already, but I really just love that last shot with the pistol hanging there as he walks over the hill out of the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was reading on IMDb, going through trivia and stuff like that, and apparently what they say is that the Django is actually a reference to a jazz guitarist.
Yeah. Who's missing fingers.
Who's missing. He had a crippled hand. So like we don't know that.
Yeah, Django Reinhardt, I think was his name.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you good memory. So I think that's pretty cool. Like,
so that's what that end scene's supposed to be.
No,
or like how his hands get destroyed.
Well, yeah, how his hands get destroyed. I didn't realize it was his hands when it actually happened. I thought it was his knees for some reason.
Oh, but they were like stomping on his hands, and then like they all rode their horses over his hands.
I think I must have like looked away or something like that, or like one of the kids. So for some reason I didn't really realize that until the end. But I thought that was kind of a cool little thing that they put in there.
Yeah.
What are they not going to do anything nowadays? if you were going to remake Django, and you're going to give him different name, who are you going to name him after?
I don't know.
Who's a famous musician with like you want to say a disability?
Ray Charles.
There you go. Stevie Wonder.
You can't make him blind. This is the Book of Eli.
Why not? There's been lots of like blind samurai movies and stuff.
There could be a fight where they throw dirt in his eyes. Or something.
Blind samurai movies make sense because there's this mysticism around samurais. Like there's this like
but I mean
there's like this next level shit.
Talking about things that influence Western movies a lot, samurai movies.
Well, this is like based on Yojimbo.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is there a contemporary artist of any type that you would like?
I don't know. I don't even know. I hear band names and I have no idea what they're. I was reading the list of the final Warp Tour is coming up, I guess.
Oh, cool.
And so I just was like curious. So I read the list of all these bands playing
on it.
No, there was a bunch of bands I knew, but there was like way more bands I've never.
What bands
fucking
did you
heard
know
of.
that are on it?
Oh, like Taking Back Sunday and Less Than Jake and Real Big Fish and shit.
I've seen all of these bands in concert.
Yeah.
And I've seen all these bands at Warp Tour before.
Every Time I Die, I think, was on there. But it was mostly bands I've never heard of.
I'd go see Every Time I Die.
I've seen them. Wait, didn't we see him at Warped Tour in Calgary? Who was that?
I
with?
didn't go to
Was
Warped
that-
Tour.
Were you? Yeah, you were. There.
Yeah, I was there.
I went to Warped Tour in Calgary. Did we see Every Time I Die there?
Yeah, I did. I don't know.
That
if you guys
giant
did.
dust bowl?
Yeah.
So-
there was a
it's the
huge dust
worst.
pit for them.
I did
Yeah.
see them there.
Yeah,
Ah,
they were
I
pretty
totally
entertaining.
forgot that.
Anyway,
Anyway, so what's my favorite scene?
I want to talk about just for a second the director Sergio Corbucci. When you think of spaghetti westerns, everyone thinks of Sergio Leone, and they should, but he's kind of like the second name, Sergio Corbucci. He did a bunch of really great spaghetti westerns besides Django, The Great Silence, and Day of Anger. There's a few others, The Mercenary. Franco Nero's in some of those as well.
Is this his most popular one?
This is probably the most popular, but Great Silence is probably the second most popular of his. And a lot of his also star Lee Van Cleef, who was in The Octagon that we watched.
Oh, so good.
He was that older mercenary soldier guy that was like helping him. He like went to him and talked to him.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
He's Angel Eyes in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He's the bad guy.
I already mentioned the fight scene, the actual physical fighting scene. I think that's my favorite. But I think we have to talk about the reveal of the Gatling gun. Yeah. And when he just fucking mows down like 70 people, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I guess this was like considered a super violent movie when it came out.
Yeah, I was reading that earlier. Apparently, countries like the UK and the United States wouldn't even give it a rating.
The UK, I think it was banned until like the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, 93.
So you couldn't even show it there.
Cool.
It was. You could see how in 1966 how this was pretty fucking violent for them.
I guess. It's like a fucking PG-13 movie nowadays.
Yeah. Well, maybe not quite, but
really,
a lot of people die, and I think that can get you an R rating.
In Canada, in our province, this would be a. Do we still have 14A?
I don't think they do that anymore.
Yeah, I think they do. Do they even rate movies in Canada anymore?
I don't know.
It doesn't feel like it.
I don't remember seeing 14 years in a long time.
Oh, we were just looking this up the other day. I was doing it at work with Aaron, and there are like almost no R-rated movies in Canada.
Yeah, it takes quite a bit.
You can get some 18A movies.
Yeah.
Which is like 18 with an adult. So like, but like there's almost no R-rated movies. 14A is an R rating in the States. So I think this is like a 14A movie.
Yeah.
There's not really a lot of blood.
There's not much blood. No. There's a bit, but
most of it's people falling down.
Yeah, people getting mowed down.
So I'd say that the two scenes that stand out beyond the obvious one with the fight in the bar is the realization that he has a Gatling gun and him standing behind that tree log. And then there's the scene when he's escaping, where he uses the Gatling gun again to just fucking
sets it up in the door of
these idiots just running in. Like,
hey, what's going on in here?
Hey, what's happening over here, guys? Oh, just like, yeah. I thought that was like a really cool, fun scene.
Yeah.
He just looks like maniacal while he's like holding it and just like going back and forth like the Punisher. And then he finally is like, oh, if I put it on this tree, I'll have way more stability.
Yeah. So just holding it like Jesse the Body in Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite quote or anything?
Not really.
It's not. Well, did you guys watch the subtitle or dub version?
Dubbed.
Yeah, I also watched dubbed, and I've heard that the subtitle version's a lot better, which doesn't surprise me. The dubbing doesn't have the best, I think, probably translations for some things.
Can I ask a really dumb question, possibly? Were these films made in Italian?
Yeah.
Or were they made in English?
No, they're shot in Italian, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
that's why they're dubbed over. And like you see the mouths aren't saying what they're...
Are they Clint Eastwood movies shot in Italian?
Most of the actors, like the other people in the movies are speaking Italian and are dubbed over, but Clint Eastwood and some other actors are speaking English.
Okay. Because it's hard to tell because often it looks like they're speaking English.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just your brain like playing tricks on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's
or tropes.
There's not super memorable quotes. I mean, I kind of wish I had watched the subtitled version so I could see sort of if the dialogue is just written a little sharper. That's not coming across, in the dub.
I think my favorite quote is "I'm your Huckleberry."
Wrong movie.
That's the wrong movie.
Oh shit! Sorry. I'm the outlaw Josie Wells. Here I am. Come get me. That's a quote.
Does he even say that in the Outlaw Josie Wells?
I don't know.
Not that I recall.
I'm unforgiven. You're fucking unforgiven.
Yeah, there's not much. Even on IMDb, there's not much.
What do they got on there?
You can clean up the mess now, but don't touch my coffee. Or coffin. Yeah. Don't touch my coffin.
Aren't we a wild bunch? Meow, meow.
What?
He's just hitting all these puns.
What else? I'm trying to think of quotes from the movie.
There really isn't very many memorable lines in the movie.
You know what I'll tell you this. Here's the most memorable part of the movie. And here it is.
Django, have you always been alone? Django, have you never loved again? Love will live on, life must go on, for you cannot spend your life regretting. Django, you must face another day.
So I think that's the most, it's the most iconic part of the movie for me. Like as far as quotes and stuff goes, the soundtrack is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And it really, really stands out.
You just can't help but start singing that.
No, but it's not even just that song. It's like throughout the entire film, I just like the soundtrack I thought was just an outlier. It's just like so great. So
It is a memorable soundtrack for sure.
yeah, I think a lot of people got amazing, a lot of inspiration from it. So yeah. So what do you guys final reaction to it? Do we like this movie? Are we recommending this movie? Are we telling people to watch it?
Yeah, I'd definitely tell somebody to watch it.
Yeah, it's really entertaining. It's full of all kinds of crazy scenes. It's fast moving. It's full of lots of action. There's lots of iconic imagery in it. Great score. I mean,
It's better than
if
I
someone
thought
likes westerns,
it was going to be.
I would say they should watch it.
Yeah, I'd say if somebody's going to start going through, like, I'm not a big Western guy, if this is something they definitely need to watch. I think possibly even before some of the other spaghetti Westerns that are more widely known. I think this one is maybe not as popular, but a must see. Yeah,
well, if you've seen all the standard stuff, if you've seen the Clint Eastwood movies and you've seen, Once Upon a Time in the West and stuff like that, then this would be like the next thing to move on to, I think. Mm-hmm. If you want more of that in your life. Or
I'd say this can stand right beside them.
I don't think it's quite as good as those Eastwood spaghetti westerns.
When did they come out?
I'm not sure what the time frame is there, but it wouldn't be that different, I don't think. But those are overall better made movies, for sure.
What's the first one?
Fistful of Dollars.
So A Fistful of Dollars came out 2 years before this.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm guessing it had a bigger budget.
Probably had a bigger budget. Definitely had... there's definitely ideas from Fistful of Dollars that are repeated in something like Django. Yeah. Where he's playing off... Actually, I can't remember now. I always get Fistful of Dollars and its sequel for a few dollars more confused. But he kind of plays the two sides of two different factions off each other in that one. And he switches sides. Or did you guys ever see Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis? It's kind of like a mobster kind of thing in the small town.
No.
Christopher Walken in it. Anyway, same idea. He pretends to be on both sides at any given time.
Oh, double agents.
Yeah.
All right, let's run through this one more time. Can we just run through how many JCVD asses we gave Franco Nero each? James, what was yours?
How many?
This is
overall?
Yeah.
Or just his eyes?
Well, I broke it down to eyes and overall, but
I would say solid 8.
Dustin?
Yeah, 7 or 8.
And I say he's an 8, eyes are a 10.
Eyes are yeah.
His
I agree
eyes,
with that.
those are
Eyes
some
are 10.
piercing
I'll tell you
eyes,
this, I got lost. Had to rewind the movie half an hour. I was just lost in them.
Oh, what did I miss? Holy shit. I blacked out
I was
there.
like, fuck, Jesus, my kids are crying. Fucking shit's blowing up everywhere. So overall, though, what do we give the let's run through our ratings, our plot, guys. What'd you give it?
I give it a 6 for plot.
5.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 as well. I mean, it's pretty solid, guys. We can all agree. Except for
James only gave
James.
it 5.
Well, it's pretty weak, really,
But it's better than Universal Soldier. Not as good as True Lies. Pretty much Shanghai Noon. Kills.
7.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, 7. I mean, I would say a lot of great set pieces. Fucking people mowed down. Do we have any guess on kill count? James?
Well, I looked it up.
Oh,
So
Dustin, do you have a guess?
I read it as well, but I don't know exactly. I think it was like 180 or something.
I heard it was 180. That's what I think I read.
And he kills like 79 of them.
Yeah, that's what I read too.
That's pretty good.
But there's I don't know.
180. That's a lot.
Well, so there's the scene where he mows down like 60 something people.
No, there's only 40. He only has 48 men left. He says that.
Yeah.
So he says he's going to go get them.
Escape.
Handful of them escape, yeah.
It's a lot of dudes. But
Okay,
then later,
when they
do
get the
heist.
gold,
Yeah.
He kills the Mexican guys.
definitely kill 100 people.
But they
there.
kill they kill a lot of people in that shootout in like the valley.
Yeah, that too. Those guys, all the revolutionaries get gunned down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that get shot down there. But
Okay, I guess that could easily get up to 180.
this probably should have been brought up earlier because I'm trying to speed through this, but I kind of like that they don't have this as incredibly gory and bloody and stuff. I feel like that's something that's kind of lost now.
Well,
Nowadays,
I think for then it was kind of gory and bloody.
yeah, but I think nowadays it would be like so over the top.
Although it would kind of be awesome if it was over the top, blood everywhere.
I think you'd have to go like really, really over the top.
No, that's what I mean. Like really over the top.
I think if they remade
Like
this,
the end of Django Unchained when he's like blowing guys' arms off and stuff.
yes, like that.
Yeah, but even like the blood going all over the place, and
Well, no one would have shown this movie then if that was how it was.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess so.
It would have been
It was already
X-rated. It would have
banned
been,
in
it would have
certain
been played in
countries.
like the X-rated theaters, like next to porno. All right. Pacing.
I give it 8 because I think this thing flies and it never slows down.
I gave it a 7.
I gave it an 8. It's pretty quick, gets you through. Quotes and tropes.
6.
I gave it 7, but that's mostly for tropes, not quotes.
Yeah, I think it gets a 7 for being. I think the movie fucking had 30 carriers on. Like,
Had what, sorry?
well, 30 other movies plus.
Oh, yeah, that one that imitated it.
Imitated
and tried
it.
to have Django in the title and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, you get a lot of credit for that. So then what's your overall reaction to it, James?
7.
I also gave it 7.
I gave it a 7. So it ends up with a 6.8.
It's very solid, but, it's just shy of being something that's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really great movie. And this puts it squarely between 6 Lethal Weapon and Commando at number 9 on our list.
Number 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that surprising?
No. I wasn't sure where it would end up because I didn't know what you guys would think of it, but
I don't think that's
Glad you
not
enjoyed it.
nearly as surprising as last week's.
yeah.
That's true.
That was a bit of a stunner.
Stone Cold Stone.
A stone cold stunner.
So what's the next movie we're going to watch, guys?
We are going to watch The Wild Bunch.
Yeah, very nice.
Another movie
It's
I've
a
never
good-
seen.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. If you have an opportunity, please check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. What would be the best? Just tell somebody, get them to download it. Hopefully they like it, and they'll tell somebody as well. But until next week, thank you, and we'll see you then. Bye.